of men feel like they're behind, but they'll never say it out loud. They show up, they go to work, but inside, they feel like they're nowhere near they should be.
And you don't feel behind because you are. You feel behind because you've been watching everyone else.
And some of you don't even know if this is real, but it's something that you've been telling yourself for years.
Yes, guys, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people who do not like to identify themselves.
Indeed.
We are the Unplugged Podcast, and we are all about helping people unplug from societal norms so they can live life on their own terms.
Guys, you do not escape the trap by learning more. You escape the trap by facing the truth that you've been avoiding. Now, guys, today's episode is a really big one. Myself and Freeman, we sat down and we're like, you know what? It's time to start saying things that you guys are thinking but won't say. And today's episode is about feeling behind, but you just won't admit it to yourself. Why won't they admit it to themselves, my boy?
I feel like it's a big point of that is comparison as well. I feel like they're comparing their ideology of where they should be versus where they actually are. And that can potentially put you in a situation or some parallel universe. And I can say this because I'm guilty of this, of where you feel like you should be where you aren't, if that sort of makes sense. And you don't have anyone that's sort of like G-checking you and telling you like, bro, sis, whatever you need to do, like you need to really like find out what's happening.
Quickly. Sorry to cut you. You just said a very interesting thing that people feel like they're not where they should be. Where has that come from? How can someone say where they think they should be? Where has that come from?
It's comparison, ultimately. It is. It's like I look at you and say, flipping, oh, John's got it all. He's doing this, he's got the car, he's got the house, he's got the kids, he's got the wife. Like, I see you and I see Mike, I see Dave and I see this person, and we've got the big old social media that doesn't help because in your fingertips you've got comparisons of billions of people constantly younger than you, smarter than you, better looking than you, healthier than you, fitter than you, you know, and you're constantly just, you know, benchmarking yourself against all these other people and giving yourself unrealistic expectations where you should be in a race with yourself only.
Yeah, cool. All right, cool. All right, let's get straight into it then. So we were talking about people kind of comparing themselves, and I think from my perspective, I think social media has a massive role to play.
Sure.
I'm a millennial, so when I sort of was growing up, there wasn't so much social media and being online and seeing what other people are doing and stuff like that. So I feel like it's been 10x'd over the last, since social media and the internet came about, where you're looking online, you're thinking, you're seeing all these people that look like they're doing great, and you feel like, why am I not doing great? Why am I not doing these amazing things? But sometimes it's like a smoke screen, and a lot of the time it's not even real. So yeah, I just want to kind of dig into that a little bit deeper and just, you know, talk about why people might be feeling like they're behind, and yeah, let's get into it, man.
What was you taking a bit of step back? What would you say like you kind of felt like you were behind, or you felt like you weren't where you wanted to be or expected to be?
Yeah, I think the older I've got, I realised that I am on my own journey, and I can't compare myself to other people because I don't know other people's story. I don't know what your life's been like for the last.
I feel like that's after the fact, but take me back though. Right. Further back. Like, when was the first time you feel like, bro, I'm nowhere where I need to be? Before you realise you can't.
Yesterday. No.
5 minutes ago. Well, what would you say? Like, take me back.
Honestly, something that I've struggled with, probably
Like on and off kind of thing.
On and off, but more so.
Same here.
More so. I'm 41 now, so more so maybe in the last 10 years. But that pressure hasn't come externally, it's come internally. And what I mean by that is, from a young age, I always thought I would be at a certain place in my life by a certain age. So I've almost like put added pressure on myself. Like, I always thought by the time I'm 30, I'm going to be a millionaire and I'm going to have the big house and the big kids and all of that type of stuff. So I think that pressure came from me internally, not really externally. Like I said, growing up, there wasn't social media like that, but it wasn't so prevalent like going online and, you know, and every day and seeing other people. So,
but then, sorry, question though, wouldn't people be like you saying you want to be a millionaire by 30, can that not just be like your dreams and your ambitions? Like, where's like the fine line of like, this is unrealistic expectations and like, this is literally also my dream? Because also to some people, some people's dreams are unrealistic.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, where's the fine line?
Yeah, no, you're right. I think for me at the time, I felt it was realistic. And the reason why I say that is because at 19, I set up my first business.
Yeah.
And I always felt to myself, I'm surely in the next 11 years, if I work hard, I can be a millionaire. And it never happened. And it never happened because I was an expert at starting businesses and stopping businesses. And ultimately, that's one of the reasons why I'm personally not where I want to be, which is fine. But yeah, just because I started quite early on, you know, I set the bar quite high and I wanted to keep pushing myself. So that's where it came from me. What about yourself?
I feel like for me, you say 30, I said like by like 21, 25 max. And I think I got to 25 when I was like 20. Like, okay, I don't think this is actually going to happen by 21. But like, I've always been hardworking. Everyone that knows me, I'm the hardest working guy in any room. I'm a grafter. You know, as soon as I got my national insurance number, 15 years and 9 months, I was working. I was working 3 jobs. I was going anything to get dough, to get money, I was doing. And because of that, like yourself, because I started early, I thought naturally, if I'm starting ahead of the curve, I should reap the rewards a bit earlier. You know, I shouldn't necessarily need to wait until I'm 50, 60 on something before I can retire. Do you get what I mean? So I think because I was working so hard so early on, I thought I was going to get there. But then now, you know, growing up a lot more, I realized by just simply working hard alone isn't enough, right? And I think that's quite interesting because I feel like just from obviously speaking to you, I know you and obviously the people who've been watching as well, and sound like John has had really, really amazing ideas, right? But like you said, you've and a big caveat of what you said is that you felt like if you worked hard, you'd be a millionaire by 30, but you stopped working hard or you stopped working.
Yes.
Whereas I feel like with my thing is that I was working really, really hard, but I was producing nothing. Very poor quality ideas. My ideation, my creation was nothing. I thought I was just working a job.
Yes.
And as we know, like it's very difficult to get to that sort of like financial level just by working a job.
Literally, I think it's virtually impossible, bro.
Near impossible.
Yeah.
Near impossible, right? So, and I feel like I find it quite funny, the juxtaposition of like, you know, you had the ideas and I had all the work effort, which makes me think we should have met like 20 years ago.
Yeah, should have. But nothing that happens before the time.
Exactly. But I think that was more my journey right now. I was just working really, really hard with no smarts.
Yes.
And I just felt like I thought I would get there just by my hard work and determination, but obviously,
yes,
we know that's not enough.
Yeah. Now I want to kind of talk to those people right now who, you know, you're working really hard, but it doesn't really feel like you're making much progress. Like, let's touch on that a little bit because, again, this episode is about you feeling like you're not where you want to be, but you won't admit it to yourself. But it starts with looking at yourself in the mirror. Like, are you happy? Are you where you want to be? Because if you're not, you need to do something different. And I stress this a lot. You know, when my life wasn't changing, it was because I was getting up every day and doing the same thing every single day. You know, but it also begins with you being honest with yourself. And if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't make the necessary changes that you need to make to sort of change your life. Was there a time, or let me ask, do you ever sit there sort of, you know, quietly and just question your life? Or have you ever sort of questioned your life that you're maybe doing the right things or?
100%. Constantly. I'm constantly in self-thought. I am constantly in alternative universes with alternative experiences of like, what if I didn't have my mum? What if I was white? What if I was Asian? Or what about if like I could fly? Like I'm constantly in deep thought of myself and I'm constantly questioning myself, was that the right thing? Was that the right move? Was that the right play? Is it worth me investing into this X, Y, and Z? So I feel like I'm constantly doing that a lot. And I feel that's because of, again, I feel like obviously like social media is like a big part, and again, like just you're constantly meeting people. Like I told you, like I went to this sick event called AdCon, which is basically an event for people in the online space who are just making money online effectively. And I'm just like, there was like 3 questions. Everyone said like, put your hand up if you make like 0 to 100K in your business. I was like, put my hand up. Put your hand up if you make 100 to a million. Like a third of the room put their hand up. Put your hand up if you make 1 million to 10 million in a year. And like 4 people put their hand up in a room of 400 people. I was like, flipping hell.
Crazy.
How do you do that? So then literally in that moment, I was just constantly reevaluating my life. I was like, why the hell am I not there? You know, but yeah, like constantly. What about you?
Yeah, I think the older I've got, the less I do, because I feel like lately, like we speak a lot. Me and Freeman got this thing where we you know, we're on our spiritual journey and we've been reading our scriptures every day, and I almost feel like I'm living the life out that has been set out for me already, and I've almost accepted where I am right now. Like this is my life is planned out for me, bro. And I'm just
It's
living
written.
it out. It's written.
It's written.
It's written. So before I'd be like, oh, I haven't got this, I'm not there, why am I not there yet? I'm behind and this and that. But I almost feel like your life is written. And it's written out in the most amazing way possible, but it still requires you to do the work. It still requires you to figure things out. It still requires you to learn from your mistakes. It still requires you to work on yourself every day to become the highest version of yourself. And I think until we realize that, we'll always forever be stuck in the mud. We'll always be at that place. And guys, like, you might be doing, you know, more than you've ever done right now, but you're still feeling like it's not enough. And if you feel like that, now is the time to really start questioning your habits. What are you doing on the day to day? Who am I hanging around with? What am I watching? What am I consuming? Are these things going to help me to go to the next level? Because if they're not, it's time to let them things go, bro.
100%. One more thing as well, like, I kind of want to chat about as well is also we know there's a lot of people. We spoke a lot about the people who are behind and don't even realize they are. But I kind of want to talk to the people who, to everyone else, they're so far ahead. To everyone else, they're smashing it. To everyone else, they're killing it. They've got the job, they've got the wife, they've got the kid, they've got the house, but deep down inside, they are not where they want to be. And for me personally, that was myself like 4 or 5 years ago, like prior to, like, even like I said, meeting my mentor. I thought I was like doing everything I wanted to do. I felt like I was on cloud nine, but like deep down, when everyone else is telling you, Freeman, you're smashing it, John, you're smashing it, you're killing it, you guys are making, you know, a heck amount of money, you know, loads of money, etc., etc., but deep down you are nowhere where you need to be. I want to speak to them people right now. And I don't know if personally you ever like felt like that, and if not, or if so, just kind of giving a bit of feedback to the people.
So what, basically just, I'm not where...
It's more so like people are telling me I want to be you when I'm older.
Okay, but you're not where you want to be.
Exactly. So there's a conflict.
Yes.
There's an external and internal conflict there.
Yes, yes,
where like
yes.
society is telling you you're smashing it.
Yes.
And you're doing extremely well.
Yes.
But deep down, you're not.
Yeah.
And that might not necessarily, because I think when we quantify doing well, it's always like finances.
Yes.
And status.
Yes, yes.
But like it could be like your mental state. You know, earlier off camera was talking about, you know, maybe not being in a relationship that you don't want to be in.
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
So I kind of want to
I think,
about that.
just, I don't know, I think we all have this thing where we always want to look like we're doing all right. Like, we never want to let our guard down. I don't know if it's an ego thing or a bravado thing, or we never want to look weak. We always want to look like we got our shit together. When in truth, probably 90% of the time we don't, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we're literally just keeping it together.
Literally.
And I feel like as men, we always, it's almost like society has taught us to always be strong. Like, you always got to figure stuff out. You always got to, you know, look like you're doing all right, and you can never be vulnerable. But we're human, you know, and a lot of the time, you might be having some mental health problems. You might be in a job that you hate. You might be in a relationship you hate. It's hard. It's very, very hard. And I think, going back to your question, I think because us were always, or me personally, I'm always setting the bar higher. And I always know I'm capable of so much more. So to the world, or to people right now, it might look like, you know, he's got his business, he's got his whatever. I know that I can achieve so much more, and I want so much more as well. So I it's almost like, and it's not necessarily a good thing, I almost feel like I will always keep wanting more. And that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, of course.
Because like, when do you get to a point where you're actually content
satisfied,
and satisfied?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the negative things of maybe having so much drive and ambition, is that you just keep going and wanting
you're never
more.
fulfilled,
you never feel fulfilled. So that's a big one for me. Hopefully that answers kind of your question.
No, definitely. I feel like a lot of people would appreciate that as well, because there are some people who are in like big jobs, or there are some people who are doing really, really well, like quote unquote in life, like financially, etc. But deep down, like, something's missing, whether it could be faith, whether it could be the relationship, maybe it could be the health, or like just something like, you know, deep down that they feel like they need to. But I feel like a big thing in terms of what you said is like being a bit more vulnerable. Yeah. Right. And just kind of like sharing that, or like, you know, expressing that.
And lastly, I think if we all got to a place where we just looked at, what does our ideal life look like? What does our dream life look like? And then you smell like you do a little audit on your life. What would happiness look like for you? And you design your life around what that looks like. And then that way, there doesn't necessarily feel like there's anything empty in your life. It's almost like your life is built by design. And if your life is built by design, you're covering pretty much every aspect of your life. So can we now start looking at, what does our dream life look like? What does our dream job look like? What does our dream relationship look like? What does our dream amount of money look like? What does our relationships with our kids, our family, our friends, what does that look like? And then once we can decide what we want that to be, we can proactively work towards that.
I kind of now want to talk a bit about like this whole facade, the lie of this right
Yes.
now. And I really want to sort of like break this down, right? In terms of like the thought behind I am behind right now. Like, so like breaking down is like, you know, we talked briefly about like, you know, kind of like where this comes from, social media being one, but like where else?
I think friends. So you might see a friend who's doing really well and you think to yourself, you start comparing yourself to your environment, your circle, which I think can be a good thing, but also a bad thing. And it can be a good thing because if you're the type of person who's driven and ambitious, that will motivate you and inspire you. Like I know people who are ahead of me and I could look at them and start comparing myself in a negative way, or I could look at them as inspiration and motivation. And they've shown me that this is what's possible. So again, it's all about sort of your mindset. You can use your friends and your peers and your environment as motivation, or you can use it as negative, like comparison. And like we always say, like comparison is the thief of all joy. Like the minute you start comparing yourself to somebody else, it's a dangerous game you're playing. And it's dangerous because you don't know what someone had to do to get where they are. Like, are you prepared to do the things that Freeman has done to get to where he is? Are you prepared to do the things that maybe I've done to get, like, you can't compare yourself, or you shouldn't compare yourself unless you know a man's backstory,
Yeah,
bruv.
100%.
You know, so yeah, I think that's where I want to take that, man.
Yeah, and I even just sort of like understanding when it comes to comparing yourself is, like John said, do you know their full story? And also one, is that really and truly your path, right? And I feel like when we're talking about like the path or like the journey to success as well, there are some stops and there are some stations where you got to do some nitty gritty stuff, or you got to do some mean kind of stuff, right? And I feel like you need to even ask yourself, like, do you just sort of like this station that they're at right now, which is sunset, sunshine and lollipops, right? Or because to get there, you need to pass the other station, which was dark and gruesome and not seeing your family and your kids,
bro.
and it's hell.
It's horrible.
Right? So I feel like it's also understanding, like, do I just like this part of where they are in their life right now, or is this also equally the path for myself? And obviously, you know, again, in this event that I was at as well, he said, you know, a lot of people would say, like, you know, the market's saturated, there's a lot of people and etc. He said that us human beings are so unique in our genetic coding and markup that we are, even with twins, we are so different from one another, to the point where of your thoughts and my thought of the exact same thing and how we execute it are different. So no one can ever be you. So even if you do like something that someone has, or even if you do like the journey that they're on, that journey is themselves. Like you said earlier, bro, like it's written, right? No two people have the same story. Do you get what I mean? So I feel like when people are now thinking and also comparing, it's like, I want that, I want part of that. It's like, think yourself, do I want their journey?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, then very unlikely. Yeah, you might have similar stations, or you might have similar stops and experiences, but their journey and your journey are far from the same.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. Now, hopefully, guys, you kind of, you know, picked up there's some really key insights into what Freeman just said. But I think the reality is, the longer you kind of stay quiet about it, the more it kind of defines you. And it's almost like, you know, it becomes who you are. And we're trying to eradicate and eliminate like negative traits, because we can never grow and we can never, you know, reach those real heights if we, you know, have a negative sort of aura. Even how we think about ourselves, like we need to just flush it all out. We need to unplug from who we are right now, bro. If we really want to level up, like I can speak for myself. I've had to change everything about me. I've almost had to become someone I'm not to get to where I am, and I'm still nowhere near where I want to be, and I'm trying to evolve every day. And I think growth and elevation just requires a constant, like, you know, evolution of oneself, and just constantly adapting, improving, working on yourself, like analyzing stuff, and that's how we go to the next level.
No, I like that. I just want us to quickly briefly talk a bit about the consequences now, right? So like, we've understood when it comes to like feeling behind and, you know, how people get into that trap. We understood and shared some of like our examples and also the flip side. But I really want to sort of hit home like some of the consequences, because people are like, yeah, I hear that. Like, it's easy to say, but that social media is always there. But like, no, like, let's actually be real with them. Like, these are the consequences of constantly comparing yourself and always feeling you are behind. So maybe you just want to share one, and I can share one as well, or like whether it could be personal or just something you've even experienced as well.
Yeah, I think I'll just go back to what I just said before, is that if you adapt that mindset and mentality, it's almost like it becomes you. It's almost like you become sorry for yourself rather than like you are what you think about, and you are what you focus on. Like if you focus on something, you naturally attract it to you. So if you focus on the negative sides of things in your life, you'll always see your life through a negative lens and a negative perspective. So rather than feel negative about the situation, let's see, like, this is the problem. What is a solution? Let's go and find a solution. Let's get curious. Let's look about how we can change our situation, because no one is going to change, or no one can change your situation other than yourself, bro. And that's the reality, bro.
100%. I feel like my big consequence is you end up rushing decisions, right? And because you end up rushing decisions, you end up doing things that aren't right, and instead you do things to try and catch up. And just think about it like this. Like, say like you go to the gym, right? I walk past, I see a guy, 6-pack, he's flipping built. He looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm thinking, bro, I want to be like that, right? But me not understanding that he's actually had to train for the last 6 years consistently, 5 days a week, eat great, have an amazing diet, go jog, gym, everything, swim, everything to get like that. And the first thing is I went on the gym, I got 100 kilos and I put it on my back and now my back is broke. Do you get what I mean?
And also at that point, you got to be asked, are you prepared to do all of that?
Yeah. No.
No. So if you're not, then you can't compare yourself.
You see what I'm saying? And I feel like that's more damaging now, because again, going back to that, although like very comedic, but like that gym example is that if I now go rush to the gym, put 100 kilos and bench, even though I've never benched 20, I've not put myself out of action. So now for the foreseeable future, I don't even have a chance to even try to achieve what I want, compared myself to, or even wanted now. So like you do yourself a lot more damage and a lot more harm than good, because you rush your decision-making process when you're trying to catch up. And I feel like the question you need to ask yourself before you make a decision when you're trying to achieve this new thing, is this the right thing for me? Emphasis on the word me. You know what I mean?
No, that makes sense. So guys, the reality is you're not behind. You're just comparing yourself to somebody else's life. But you're comparing yourself to somebody else's life who you don't know, like I said, what they've had to do to get to that stage where they are in their life. Stop looking at other people as a sort of benchmark. It's almost like you're looking at the wrong things. You're distracted by the wrong things. You know, you're looking in the wrong direction as opposed to looking in your own direction. It's almost like you're driving in a car along a street, and instead of looking forward, you're looking to the left or you're looking to the right, looking out, like you will forever, it will take you longer to get to where you need to be if you're driving, looking at other people, as opposed to just focusing on you and focusing on your journey and your destination. It will take longer to get there.
And I feel like with this as well, if you keep on believing you're behind, you'll always feel like you're chasing. And if you're always chasing, you'll never build anything real. And if you never build anything real, you can't become real, become that true version of yourself, which I think is massively important. And then you now embark on a journey where there's a point of no return, because you're so far in, and then you've built no substance to yourself. You've built nothing of like real meaning. And then some people build a life based off of someone else, then finally get there and realize like they are literally a clone or an imposter, a fake crappy B-Tech version of someone else, when they should be building like their own dreams. And then that's a bigger that's a bigger box to unpack. You know what I mean?
100%.
I really think like this was like a solid episode. I definitely think like this is all, I know it, but like it's always good to kind of like talk about it and
flush
express
it out
as well.
And bring it to the table. Just kind of, again, speaking about things sometimes just brings clarity to your own thoughts as well. And just having that conversation, guys. And that's what we're kind of here for. We want to talk about things that you may think, things that you may feel, but you just won't say it. Like, this is what we're here, guys. Just bring ideas to the table. So, guys, if there's something that, you've been thinking about, you've been feeling a certain way, but you maybe don't have anyone to talk to about, like, drop us a comment in the comment section and we'll talk about it. We'll bring it to the table. Anonymous, we'll bring it and we'll break it down. We'll give you our views, we'll give you our perspectives, and hopefully that can kind of help you get from where you are to where you want to be.
110%. But guys, I really hope you appreciate this episode. But if you're joining us for the first time, or if you're a real unplugger, This is the part of the show called the Unplugged Truths.
Indeed, indeed. Guys, this is something you probably need to hear or something you need to start saying to yourself. And my Unplugged Truth reads, you don't feel behind because you are. You feel behind because you spend more time watching other people's lives than building your own.
Facts. Can't get any deeper than that. My Unplugged Truth is most men aren't stuck. They're just avoiding the one thing they know they need to do. And I think ultimately that's all about action, right? You know what you need to do. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, you do.
And you just need to, get out and just do it and just action it.
No, 100%. So guys, in closing, man, you don't escape the trap by moving faster, guys. You escape the trap by moving in the right direction. I think some of us, we've not even got in the car, bro. No. We're still in the living room watching TV.
Literally.
Do you know what I mean? But we need to get up, stop watching that Netflix. Do you know what I mean? Stop doing things that are not going to change your life and start moving towards things that are going to change your life, man. And that's how you kind of get out of the trap.
100%. And guys, please, we're on a journey. We're on a mission to 1,000 subscribers.
Indeed.
But we made your life really, really easy now, all right? Some of you, your mums, your dads, your single parents, you're working, you're doing this and you're doing that. So we've not only allowed you to just take up all our glory and all our gems and insight on YouTube, what else have we given them?
Guys, if you are somebody who likes to listen to things on the go, in the gym, in the car, we are on Spotify, we are on Apple. So now there's no excuses.
Zero excuses.
There's no excuses for you to get plugged into the Unplugged podcast.
There we go, baby.
There you go, man.
So guys, as always, we really appreciate everything you do. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, you tell a friend, tell your mum, tell your dad, tell his mistress.
Please.
Please tell her.
Please.
And as always, guys, love, love, love.
Elevate.